What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another Hasbro Star Wars The Vintage Collection market update. We've got a nice wide array of Vintage Collection figures all the way from TVC 1.0 all the way to recent releases, as you can see here with the Migs Mayfield. Lots of good data here. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. To all my existing subscribers, thanks so much for the support. And to my Patreons, I really appreciate you guys allowing me to grow the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, that address is patreon.com/actionfiguregrader. Let's go ahead and dig right in. We've got VC01 Dengar. And this is a figure that continues to command quite a bit of money on the secondary market. This card looked really nice and clean. This was the US card. A little bit of wave, a little bit of kind of edge wear on the bottom, on the back. And even on the top, there's just a little bit, not too much though. Probably like 85 plus condition. But man, what an awesome card back. This one sold for $140 with free shipping. This is a little higher than a couple of other ones we've talked about here recently in that 100 to 125 range. But that is a beautiful card back. Next up, we had a Darth Sidious VC12 with the Boba Fett rocket firing mail away offer. And this one was punched, which, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen an unpunched example of Darth Sidious. I'm sure they're out there. One of you guys has it, but not me. But a really nice looking figure, and I love that face sculpt. Just captures the evil of Darth Sidious so perfectly. That one sold for $77 on free shipping, 3 bids. That closed on July 17th. Next up, we've got a foil version of the Clone Commander Cody, the Ultimate Galactic Hunt version. And it doesn't look foil to me, but it's labeled as a foil. Yeah, it is a foil. The top of the card back doesn't look that foily. It doesn't look foily. Is that a word? But the bottom of it is. So clearly it's the foil card back. It does have a little bit of edge wear. You can see down there in the lower right-hand corner, it's got some denting. And then above the hang tab there, it also has a little crease that is color breaking. On the back, it had a little scratch there on the back where you can see that scratched it when it was hanging on the pegs at retail. But probably like an 80 plus to 85 condition VC19 foil Clone Commander Cody. Did not stop the bidding though. $182.50 was the final sales price on free shipping. That also closed on July 17th. Next up, we had kind of a little bit damaged VC64 Princess Leia in her slave outfit. This is obviously the retail release with the prototype Boba Fett offer sticker. And this was punched and quite a bit of wear around the hang tab there. A little scratch below the warning label in the upper right-hand corner. And here's the back of the card back. You know, probably like 80 plus condition overall would be my guess. A little bit of curling down there by the proof of purchase. And this one sold for $200 plus $7.95 shipping. So, you know, when they're in more mint condition, they can command upwards of $300 or more. So I think that price was pretty fair given the condition issues for that one. And while we're on the subject of VC64, here is an SDCC giveaway proof card for Princess Leia in her slave outfit. And you can see it's got a little bit of dimpling going on around the top there of the card back. But these proof cards for the slave Leia continue to command pretty good money. This sold for £80 or 96 US dollars plus shipping. Obviously, for me, it was precluded from being bought for most people here in the US, given that the shipping cost through the eBay Global Shipping Program was almost $60. But hopefully somebody over there in the UK or Europe was able to pick this one up. That's a really nice proof card. Here was an interesting one. This one was a Target 2010 3-pack, and this is a pretty incredible item that you don't see come up for auction very much. But this had the 3 special action figure sets, the Bespin Alliance, the Hoth Rebels, Hoth base set, and then also the Imperial Forces set. So you can see the only at Target sticker there on the right-hand side, but the box itself was in pretty awesome shape. Here's the back of it. Just incredible artwork on this. This has got to be one of the biggest items that you'll ever see. But, you know, a little bit of creasing down there in that lower corner. But, you know, this is just an item that, if you've got the space, it sure does look nice. And it sold for $187.50 plus $25 shipping. I would imagine it's going to cost quite a bit more than $25 to ship this gigantic set. But it's just an awesome item. Next up, we had another 3-pack. This is the 501st Legion ARC Trooper 3-pack, and this one sold for 120 euros, or about 121 US dollars. Looked to be in pretty clean condition overall, maybe just some light edge wear here and there, but that's a little bit down versus some of the other examples we've seen sell over the last 3 months between, I'd say in the very low end, usually it's about 150 all the way up to about $200. So this one only sold, though, for about 121 US. Okay, now I pulled this one up so the photos are hiding the price. But this seller was what I alluded to in my video yesterday, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this over time. But this seller was selling off his entire vintage collection run, and we'll dig into the description here in a second, but he included photos of his entire run. It included just about every single TVC 1.0 figure, so you can see how many there are there. The fronts and the backs were shown for all of these. A pretty incredible collection. And I'd be curious to know what you guys think this entire run sold for. And so I'm going to give you a second, just take a look at all the photos. But it's just an incredible run. Most of them were punched for the early run figures, but a lot of them were unpunched, as you can see here. And a number of these were all punched, unfortunately. But in general, it was a pretty incredible collection. And it sold for $5,703. So it was a lot of 112 near complete TVC 1.0. And this seller was just, getting rid of all of them. It was neat stuff collectibles. So this is a reseller. They probably purchased this, from a collector and decided to sell it all in one run. It did not include 3 exclusive figures: the prototype Boba Fett Mail-Away VC61, and then obviously the 2 big boys, the Salacious Crumb or the Mouse Droid, were not included. But a pretty awesome run, and I guess this seller decided to just sell them off in one go in an auction. And I was just curious to see what it would sell for, but it sold for $5,703 on 43 bids plus $80 shipping. So $5,800 will buy you a near complete run of the TVC 1.0 if you're willing to live with some unpunched examples in that lot. But wow, what an awesome run. This same seller also listed 28 of the Lost Line figures, and lots of doubles here. You had the Jar Jar Binks, you had the Clone Troopers, the Shock Trooper, the Sand Trooper, Leia Bespin, and then the Emperor's Wrath Darth Vader. But a huge lot there. That sold for $636 plus $40 shipping. So, this seller, again, I guess just decided to dump them all in one lot instead of selling them individually. But pretty incredible to see those lots go. And I think, again, I think you'll see more of this as time goes on and inflation runs rampant. But hopefully I'm wrong there. Next up, a couple of VC98 Grand Moff Tarkins sold. This was an unpunched example with the Darth Maul offer sticker in the lower right-hand corner. This one did have a little bit of edge wear, as you can see on the bottom of the left-hand side there. But overall, a pretty decent card. It did have a crease going above the top there, which maybe some buyers didn't notice, but there was a crease that goes from the hang tab all the way to the far left-hand side on the back. But that sold for $150. And then this one sold for $202.50. This one was clean and did not have any creases that I can see on the photos, but just a couple of data points there. I think relative to this one, which had that big crease on the back, I think this one was the better deal, even though it was more expensive. But this one was much cleaner and kind of in line with where we've seen Grand Moff Tarkin sell. $175 to $200 seems to still be the going rate for a nice unpunched VC98. Next up, Starkiller. Starkiller is a really interesting character. Obviously there's talk that he's going to be re-released on a Gaming Greats card back. There's also been some recent rumors that Starkiller is coming to live action. And instead of Sam Witwer, who lended his likeness and his voice for Starkiller in the Force Unleashed video games, there's talk it might be Christian Bale, which is really bizarre to me. I don't see that at all. I don't know why you just don't hire Sam Witwer to be Starkiller if you're talking about bringing him into live action. I think that he would make a great live action character, and his story arc within the video games was really interesting. But why you would not go after Sam Witwer makes no sense to me at all, just given that he is known to be Starkiller. But this one sold at auction, 34 bids, $208 was the final sales price plus $10 shipping. It looked really clean overall. Nice clean card back, and you know, whether this one comes back down in price, we'll see. But you know, it had been kind of selling 150 to 175-ish, but this one was a lot more mint. And I know the person who bought this. Shout out to Matt K. And this was a beautiful example, so congratulations to Matt on that one. Next up, we had a VC102 Ahsoka original issue that sold for $152.50, and you're like, wow, that's way low. But this one did have some damage. So if you look at the back of the card, it looks pretty clean there. But a little bit of edge wear, as you can see, all up on the top there on the back. And then the seller was kind enough to note the major scratch right here on the back of the card back. So that held the price down, but credit to the seller for disclosing that scratch. He could very easily could have masked that, but it was a beautiful unpunched example with a little bit of damage, but probably 80-ish condition. But $152.50, I think that price is really fair given that we've seen Ahsoka kind of bounce off the lows of $250-ish and is now kind of selling $300 to $350, even as high as $400 depending on how clean it is. So $152.50, I think, given the condition issues for that one, was a very fair price. A few mint and sealed box vehicles before we finish off with some recent releases. This was another Toys R Us exclusive mint and sealed box X-Wing fighter. That one sold for $117.49. That's right in line with where this has been selling. It did have a little crinkle right there in one corner, as you can see. So, but a beautiful item, and another kind of damaged area on the front of the box there. So, you know, this one has been selling $150 to $175. I've seen a couple of data points as high as $200, but given the damage to this one, you know, that's what kept the price down on that one. This was an interesting one. You do not see the TVC Republic Gunship mint and sealed box come up for sale ever. It just never appears. It must have been produced in pretty low numbers given the size of this thing, but this one was the Toys R Us exclusive with a little bit of just very slight damage to the box, as you can see. Beautiful, beautiful box, though. I love the box art on this one. That one sold for $585 plus $30 shipping, so a little over $600 bought you a mint and sealed box Republic Gunship. But this might be the first time that I can remember, anytime recently anyway, where we saw this one come up for auction, and just an absolutely gorgeous item. Next up was yet another Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run Edition. That one sold for $640 with free shipping on 6 bids, and I think, you know, that's kind of in line with where this one's been selling. It's been selling kind of $550-ish plus shipping, but this one was $640 with free shipping, so I think that price was pretty fair. Razor Crest seems to be coming down just a little bit in price, although this box was damaged. You can see a little damage there in the lower right-hand corner. That one sold for $560 plus another $182 shipping, so that's still a big number. And then this one sold still sealed inside the shipper box, although the shipper box did have a big hole punch there, as you can see on the upper left-hand corner. So who knows what kind of condition the actual retail packaging for the Razor Crest is in, given that hole to the outer box. But that one still sold for $720 plus $96 shipping. So it seems to be holding steady right now. Next up, we have Antoc Merrick. And I wanted to point this one out because a number of you guys very rightly told me that, hey, look, John, action figure grader, Antoc Merrick is jumping up in price. And oftentimes the mint on card is selling at or close to what a mint and sealed box Target exclusive Rogue One X-Wing is selling for. And I've got that example right here for you. This is just the pack-in, the Antoc Merrick VC204. It had a little scratch, as you can see, above the hang tab, but overall a very clean example. That one sold for $110 on free shipping. But this one just ended. This is a mint and sealed box Antoc Merrick's X-Wing. That sold for $145.50 plus $8 shipping. So this one sold for $145.50, whereas just the pack-in by itself sold for $110. And I attribute that to people just wanting to make sure they got a really clean Antoc Merrick, given the pack-in issues with this one, with all the scratches that you can often see on the card back. And this one was not immune to that. It had a little scratch, but it's not, at least based on the photos, it's not nearly as bad as the damage that, for example, to mine that still got a 90 with CAS. But anyway, just a couple of data points for Antoc Merrick's X-Wing. Next up, we got Migs Mayfield. This one sold for $36 on free shipping. Beautiful card back there, and I found several data points that averaged anywhere from $25 to $40. So that gives you a price point, or a price range anyway, for the Migs Mayfield. Really great looking card back on that one. And then finally, I wanted to finish it off with a custom. I'm surprised that Hasbro hasn't done this yet, but this is Luke Skywalker Dark Spirit from the Cave of Evil on Dagobah. And it looks like he took a Darth Vader and plugged in a, the Luke head. This is probably from the special action figure Cave of Evil 3-pack. He just repackaged it on his own custom card. And that card back looks awesome. You would think that Hasbro would do something like this, but they have not to date. But I would think it would be a pretty easy pack-in just by swapping out the head on a Darth Vader from that Cave of Evil special action figure set. But anyway, just a cool custom. I thought we'd finish that off. That one sold for $30 after shipping. That's all I really had for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.